We're nearing the finish line. This is part 3 of my 3-part series discussing the best audio bargains on the market right now. If you've missed the first 2 episodes, don't worry, I'll link you through to them at the end of this video. Video 1 talked about bargains up to $250, and then video 2 took us up to $1,000. Today we go beyond $1,000 and up to just over $2,000. There's a point above $2,000 where I think it's really difficult to call anything a bargain, so I stopped about there. Before we get into the list, let me quickly explain how I chose and selected the product included. Basically, my process was that I went through every product that I own and all products that I've reviewed over the long time that I've been reviewing gear. As I looked through the list, I looked at each product and tried to think of any product that I thought was as good or better at the same price. If I couldn't think of an equivalent or better product than the one I was focused on, then that product made the list. I've also factored in availability because some of the products out there that are great are a little bit hard to get your hands on if you're not in North America. And this is a global community. What that means is that all of these products are easy to get your hands on, or in 1, maybe 2 cases, the product is so good that I think it's worth the hassle of having it shipped from the US and Canada to other locations on the globe. So let's go. We're going to start with a headphone that's a little bit polarizing due to its looks. Its sound should be a safe bet for pretty much anybody though. At $1,099, the SJY Audio Horizon Closed Carbons compete with other closed-back headphones worth over $2,000. They're comfortable, they're unique, and they sound brilliant. Now, as with all the previous videos, I'm going to move pretty fast, and so I've listed all of these products in the description down below, along with purchasing links, and if I can fit them in, I'll also link to the reviews as well, so you can get more details. If for any reason I can't find a way to fit all of the text in there for the review links, then all you need to do is search for the product name and passion for sound here on YouTube, and the reviews are going to pop straight up. And speaking of links and the description and headphones, I should take a few moments very briefly now to mention the sponsor of this video, and that's Dekoni Audio. Dekoni Audio make a huge range of replacement pads for headphones. They make an incredible modular cable system, carry cases, and various other accessories for headphones and earphones. And the modular cable system is probably worth mentioning here. If you're grabbing some audio bargains, you might end up with a couple of different headphone amps or a couple of different headphones. The idea of the modular cable system is that you buy the cables in parts. If you've got 2 different headphones and 1 headphone amp, you can buy the end that plugs into the headphones for the 2 headphones, and then just buy 1 lead that goes to the headphone amp and swaps between the 2. Or flip that around, if you've got 1 headphone and 2 different headphone amplifiers, maybe with different connection types, then you can buy 1 part of the cable that goes to the headphones and buy 2 different amplifier ends to suit the connection types, and then swap your headphone between the 2. It's a great way to reduce cable clutter and lower your overall cost on headphone cables because you're not buying a full cable every single time. Even better than that is you can have a 10% discount on anything from the Dekoni Audio website, that's dekoniaudio.com. Just go there and use the code PassionForSound10 to get 10% off whatever you buy, and you can use it over and over again, so don't be shy. Now, let's move on to another bargain headphone in the form of the ZMF Bokeh Closed. For just $1,100, this sits right alongside the SJY Audio Horizon Closed Carbons that I mentioned just before. These are 2 of the very best closed-back headphones in terms of their price to performance ratio, and I know I'm kind of breaking the rules here because I said I only included products in this list if I couldn't think of something as good or better, but these 2 just both represent such amazing value for money that I had to include both. And while we're talking about ZMF Bokehs, I'm neither including nor excluding the open back version, because I haven't spent enough time with those outside of show conditions which aren't ideal for making an opinion. I'm not including or excluding those because I haven't spent time with them. And now let's turn our attention from headphones to headphone amps. The Schiit Mjolnir 3 headphone amp is another exception to my rules here. It can be hard to get your hands on the Schiit Audio products if you're outside of the USA and Canada, or it can get more expensive. But the Mjolnir 3 is definitely worth that effort and even worth a bit more expense. At $1,200, the Mjolnir 3 headphone amp is easily as good and better than amplifiers costing $2,000 or more. It's got an energetic and engaging sound without being in any way unnatural or enhanced. I can't think of any headphone amp that I would prefer to own and listen to below about $3,000. And now let's change pace and talk about 2-channel audio, speakers specifically. When I reviewed the Atom Audio A7Vs recently, they sounded pretty good. I wouldn't say though that they sounded specifically better than their $1,600 price tag. That is, until I used their amazing onboard DSP calibration options to tune them to my room. You can use the onboard control to adjust the A7Vs to mostly calibrate to your room, or you can add on some additional software and take them to a whole different level. I've explained it all in the full review, but being able to buy speakers, amplifiers, and a room correction DSP all for $1,600 makes the A7Vs astonishingly good value. And in case you're wondering why I just mentioned amplifiers, it's because by being active speakers, the A7Vs have the amplifiers built in. And so all you need to do is buy the A7Vs and a DAC with the volume control, and you've got yourself a full 2-channel stereo system. And that, folks, brings us to the final audio product that made the cut here. The linear Tube Audio Velo headphone amp and preamp was the final product that jumped out at me as I went through my list. I know that calling anything above $2,000 is a bit of a stretch when we're talking bargains. Indeed, you probably could have stopped me at $1,000 and said it's getting a stretch. But the Velo at $2,100 is an amazing example of design, engineering, and sound quality. It's an absolute joy to interact with, and it sounds marvelous. It does things like remember the volume levels from each of the different inputs and each of the different output types, whether it's preamp or headphone output. That's 6 different remembered volume settings. And it's thoughtfulness like that that separates the Velo from the norm and away from other competitors in the same realm. Being a tube amp, some judicious tube upgrades can also further elevate the sound of the Velo, but it already sounds great. And that's it. We're done. I hope you've enjoyed the series and found some bargains along the way. If you missed either of the prior episodes, you can watch them here or here. And don't forget to grab your 10% discount at DekoniAudio.com using the code PassionForSound10. For now, a huge thanks to YouTube channel members, also to channel Patreon members, and to those of you who leave super thanks on videos like this one. And until next time, happy listening, be kind to each other, and I'll see you here again soon on Passion for Sound.